Okay, y'all. So today I'm really excited about this one because I'm going to be assembling a SpongeBob vending machine. And if you've ever wanted to learn how to create a vending machine for Easter baskets, party favors, Valentine's Day, or even to sell, I'm going to be walking you through every single step. Wait until you see the end result. It's going to be super cute. All right, y'all. So I have my pieces that I'm going to be assembling. Of course, we have our foam board, and I got the foam board from Wally World. And you'll need an X-Acto knife, some adhesive spray, a glue gun, a ruler, and you will need a hard surface. I use this Fiskars mat. If you love creating vending machines, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so that you can keep up with all of my latest creations. So first we want to take our adhesive spray and we want to do a sweeping motion like so, back and forth, side to side. And remember, you do not want to use too much because it can and will seep through your image. And then you just want to line it up on your board like that and smooth it out. And if you want to, a lot of the times I normally do use gloves for this because I don't like to get smudges on it. But that's how it'll look. And then next we'll just take our ruler. I like to turn it around the opposite way since I am right-handed. And I like to line it up just like that. And then you're going to take your X-Acto knife and run it directly down the side. And make sure when you're using your X-Acto knife, it is very tight and up against the ruler so that you'll have a nice, clean, smooth edge like this. So here we are. We have, this is our back piece. Next up, I'm going to show y'all the front. Here is the front piece. Now I did go ahead and cut this one off camera because it takes a little bit more time. The cuts are a little bit intricate. So with this one, you just want to cut along all of the edges. And if you have a template that's designed like this, you have to take your X-Acto knife and just cut all around. And then down here where you see it says push, you can cut around that if you want to. If not, it just depends on what you want. But this is our front piece. Next up, we are going to cut our sides out. And we are going to do the same thing with our spray adhesive. And just do a sweeping motion back and forth. And remember, not too much. Because, like I said, it will seep through and then it'll mess your image up. And remember to make sure before you are actually just placing it down, you want to make sure that it's lined up nice and evenly. And what I like to do when I'm doing vending machines, I like to take my image because it's less cutting. I like to line it up with the clean edge already of the foam board, so it's less cutting for me. And then if you come to a corner like this one, then just spray a little bit like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing, which is cut off all of the excess foam board. Remember to make sure that it's nice and tight with your X-Acto knife. And this is how smooth, nice and clean your edges should be. Go cut along the top here. All right. So last but not least, we got to cut down the middle to make it two pieces because that's what we need. If this is helping you, go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps my channel to grow. I really would appreciate that. All right, with this one, it wasn't. There we go. Sometimes you may, if that doesn't align properly. All right, and here we go. We got one piece cut. Let's go ahead and cut the next piece. And again, remember, make sure it's nice. All right. All right. There's our other side piece. Let's go ahead and start cutting our shells. So again, using our adhesive spray, we're gonna do a little sweeping motion like that. place it down on our foam board so that it's nice and neat and lined up. Okay. I'm gonna spray a little bit more. Or actually, no. I'm gonna lift it up. Do it like that. Because it didn't line up how I wanted it to. And I need it to line up perfectly and evenly. All right, there we go. All right, let's go ahead and see if there are any pieces that needs to be glued down. All right, we should be good to go. All right, so y'all, I am ready to start gluing now. I like to start gluing with one side, and what I typically do is I take my hot glue gun and I just hot glue all down. I just glue all down the side, and be careful when you're running a glue gun down because you don't want to have too much glue, like, you know what I'm saying, on one side. And then I place it down like so, make sure that it's evenly aligned, and then I hold it in place like that. The next thing I like to do is go ahead and get one shelf glued in, so I'll do that next. Okay, y'all, I'm so sorry. I'm having to do a voiceover. I am not sure what happened to my sound, but it just went out all of a sudden on this part of the video. But here you will see me just take the first shelf, and I'm just about to glue it in. And before you glue it in, make sure that it fits nice and neat in there. And then just take your glue and run it along the side that's going to be meeting with the side of the vending machine. And then take your glue gun and run it along the back side of your shelf as well, so that those two sides meet against the parts of the vending machine that's already together. And then you want to make sure that you're putting enough glue on. And then you want to place it down nice, neat, and evenly, and hold it. And make sure that you are pressing it against that side over there. And make sure that that bottom shelf is aligned with the bottom of the front of the vending machine. I'm sorry, the back of the vending machine. And once you see that it's in place, you can go ahead and let it go. As you can see that it is nice and even with the back of the vending machine and the side. And if you want to take like the side piece and put it in there just to make sure it's going to have a nice snug fit once you add in the other side, go ahead and do that. You always want to make sure you check placement, because if not, any small tiny error with these foam built vending machines will mess the whole vending machine up. So here I'm just go ahead and add it in the second shelf and checking placement yet again, because that's my number one thing to do is check placement. Here I'm just adding more glue on before I add in the second shelf. You want to make sure that you add glue to those both sides, the same two sides that you added to the first piece that we put in. And then once we place it down, you want to make sure that it's nice, snug, and tight fit, and hold it down until that glue sets up a little bit. And when you do this, you want to also make sure that your shelves are aligned nice and neat, so they're not like leaning or anything, because then your stuff won't stay on the shelves the proper way. All right, here you'll see that all 4 shelves have been put in place, and as you can see, they're nice and neat and cohesive to one another. So the next thing for us to do is to go ahead and add on the next side. Oh, yes. And one little tip that I like to do, sometimes you can do it or you don't have to do it, is if you want to add in like an extra layer of durability, you can take the glue gun and run a layer of glue inside each shelf if that's what you want to do. That's what I did just along there, just so you can kind of see what I was doing there. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add some more hot glue onto the last side of our vending machine. And you want to run it up along the side so that you can place it along the side of the vending machine. And there we go, add that glue in. And with this, you also want to make sure that that piece is nice and snug in there so that it fits properly. Because again, like I said, if the pieces do not fit nicely, then your vending machine is not going to look nice, nor is it going to be leveled on all the different sides that it needs to be leveled on. And there we go. We got our side on. Looking so nice and neat. All right, y'all. So now we have our front cover. And for the front cover, we are not going to be using any glue or anything. We are actually going to be using what you call some little hinges. I got these from Amazon. and I will show you how to place them onto the vending machine. All right, so let's make sure that we have the top aligned with the sides, and we are going to take our little hinge and place it over here. Make sure it's exactly how you want it. So I would actually suggest that you take the top part and place it on before you actually place the hinge on this lower part. So your door will be able to open and shut like that. Here we go. Let's do the next one. And you will need, for this size vending machine, since this is a 13 by 19, you will need at least 3 of these hinges. And this is just my way of doing it. Some people use glue for the front part and then use hinges for the back part. So it's really up to you on, you know, what you want to do. Next, here is how it look with all 3 hinges. And the door just opens like so. Last but not least, we are going to add a latch on. And I also got these from Amazon. They all come in like a little kit together. So you just want to take it and add it on like that. And I like to make sure that the part with the little hole in it right there is attached to the side first before adding this front piece, the actual latch. And that is how the vending machine turns out. Thanks so much for watching. If you want the template and see more Easter creations or other creations that I'll be coming with, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much.